All right, everyone, we are back. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of a false start there, but this is day 2 of the Halo World Championship 2025. We got Optic Gaming versus Spacestation. Golden Boy Walshy on the mic. Walshy, you broke the game. You fixed it. Thank you so much for that.
Most important part is I fixed it.
Yeah,
so
that's the most important part.
I'll take the credit for that.
All right, let's go ahead and do this one, folks. This is a big game that we're going to be treated to here because Optic Gaming, they're looking to hoist a trophy over their head. Obviously, Spacestation looking to do the same here, but Spacestation dealing with a little bit of a, I don't know, trying to figure it out a little bit as of late here, whereas Optic Gaming, they have their eyes set on Championship Sunday.
Well, everyone is playing their absolute best coming into this event, especially a lot of the upcoming seeds. So someone like Cloud9 having knocked down someone like FaZe, but we have the top 4 seeds playing each other in round 1.
Crazy, with absolute insanity.
Spacestation taking on Optic, Shopify taking on FaZe Clan.
Yeah.
So both these teams fighting for their tournament life to go on to round 2.
Yeah, it's going to make these, it's going to make this quarterfinals absolutely a shark pit. And that lower bracket too, let's not forget. But in any case, though, let's continue onward here and see what's going on with this neutral bomb game. Of course, the name of the game, get that bomb over to your opponent's base. You got a little while to plant that thing, and then you want to go through it in waves, right? We're seeing a lot of these teams do a good job of really handling the slays and making sure that they can get into the enemy base, get behind enemy lines, and then try and pull attention to themselves. But in order to do that, it takes a lot of effort to get to that point. And it has been an absolute slog here at the early goings of this game for both of these teams here.
Yeah, both these teams don't want to overcommit towards the bomb. They want to just first get the slays, and that's where you see both these teams going for. And StelluR going so far behind enemy lines. And look at this. Not expecting this flank. In fact, actually, never mind. Bound and Renegade.
Wow.
Both fighting StelluR on the base, and StelluR almost takes them both out.
This is actually a massive opportunity here. That ball's going to be over toward the bridge, and Falcated's going to be the one in position to be able to plant it. Now remember, Optic Gaming came into this one with 11-2 record on Assault. Meanwhile, Spacestation Gaming 5-6. So you know that Spacestation had to put a lot of work into this game mode, especially heading into the World Championship, and it starts off strong for them as they manage to get one on the board, and they got 2 more down again, maybe even going for 4. Look at this movement, man. Unbelievable stuff.
Clearing them out of the fridge, getting all those slays. That's going to be all 4 down. And you got to wonder what is going to be SSG's play here. They have 4 down, but they're not in a position to move the bomb up. So they just have to slay and take the ground. But looks like Formal's already made his way to car 2.
Eco playing his life here, knowing that he's in a bit of a pickle. But StelluR was there to back him up. Those two have been running together ever since the Splice days. But even then, though, it's not going to be enough for him in that fight. StelluR as well. He's going to get caught as he was trying to make his way into util. Now with camo in hand and that bomb around them, they can actually do some work here. Renegade with camo, that's a scary combination.
Yeah, Renegade could have opted to bring that bomb in a little closer, but decides just to go for some slays. And you can't really go wrong in bomb if you get enough kills on the map. It's going to be incredibly difficult for somebody to grab a bomb arm when you have 4 alive or 3 alive.
Yeah. Even though we have seen some wild moments. Some people have snuck it in.
That's been off the back of a lot of slays, but you're right.
Yeah.
There's been some unconventional bomb arms that we've seen, but for the most part, it's going to be a slaying game, and that's what Renegade's mostly focused on. He said, hey, they got the last arm because they had someone behind enemy lines. They had StelluR doing so much damage to the base. He doesn't want to allow that to happen again.
Now, Optic do opt to have that bomb just return back to center, back to an even keel here. This is not going to give Spacestation that opening, that opportunity. Bomb makes it over toward Blue Base Steps. Meanwhile, Lqgend, he's going to continue to see if he can disrupt the back lines here of Spacestation Gaming. Does manage to get behind 2 of the players, Eco and StelluR. StelluR's going to be maybe not long for this world in that util. Might even see his name pop up in a moment. There it is. But this is good pressure that we're seeing here from Lqgend and Optic Gaming, right? They're just getting in the face of their opponents. They want to make this is what you got to do. And then while that's happening, you're bringing that bomb just a little bit closer. They're going to opt to play for that util push, right? Bring that bomb over to the bridge, over to util, win a couple of these fights here, then force their way back, and then force those spawns over toward the fridge. But Spacestation is wise to it there, and a trade out is actually going to kind of force Lqgend to have to exit the vicinity because he realized he was going to have to deal with a flank.
Gonna have to deal with flanking there, had to commit towards util, just realizing that they had enough resources to push in, and he had no idea if he had the numbers advantage or not. Decides to revert back towards his teammate. Smart play to make.
Does bring that ball back, though, to the center. although it'll be favoring more on the car side. Fallouts haven't made for Lqgend as well. That's going to be a solid 4 down now. SSG have 4 down. Big opportunity now for Optic Gaming to be able to bring that one forward. You also have Camo that's going to be up for grabs too. So a lot of things for Optic Gaming to work with here in order to get this first one on the board, and they have plenty of time to do it.
And also helps when you have someone like Lqgend who's leading
They're
the
on
charge
it.
and getting a perfect kill in the back of the base. This one's going to be an arm, and it's going to be a tie game here.
Pretty much uncontested. Optic Gaming get on the board. It has certainly been a struggle for them in the early goings, but they have found their footing. That 4 down, and it just goes to show, right, that one thing that happened so quickly, and it just led to a cascading effect. And now this bomb has been planted, and look at this. This one Camo the Formal's picked up has allowed them to be able to bring that ball, and they have no eyes on it. They have no idea. He's in there already.
Look at this pressure, and there's panic. All these members of SSG turned
Oh my
backs
word.
against the other members of Optic. That's going to be an arm, and also those members of SSG are going to be going down. All of them had to desperately turn around to see if they can get that stop. And because of it, they get the arm, they get 3 kills against SSG, and it's not over yet.
He just marched that bomb into the base like it was nothing. Had the Camo, and SSG were none the wiser. They were all center, looking toward the base, expecting that that was where the fight was going to be. But we could very well be looking at the end of the match here, the end of the game rather, as the bomb's going to be inside of the base now. The defense is there. Renegade's there to cover it against Eco. Takes him out. No one's there to stop him off the spawn. No one's even gotten a shot on him yet. And there you go. Optic Gaming showing why they are 11-2 on this map, on this mode rather. What a way to start things off, completely outslaying SSG as well. And there you have it. Optic Gaming go up 1-0, Dave.
So scary once they got control. It was
Never
arm
stopped.
after arm. They had a setup the entire time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they had to desperately get that bomb arm in and all go down. No, they kept control that entire length of time.
That was absolutely beautiful to watch. Formal, of course, you got to give flowers to him for just some great heads-up plays and understanding the value of that Camo in that moment, and just a solid game all together. Optic Gaming managed to pull off a Map 1 win. We'll be coming up next. Map 2, don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back as we get ready. Map 2, Live Fire, StelluR, Optic Gaming up 1-0. Spacestation Gaming showing at the early goings of the games they certainly can contend, but Optic Gaming showing on their end that when they need to flick the switch and get things going, very few teams can stop them, because that assault, the ending of that assault, Dave, was absolutely brutal and so well done by Optic. But now we're going to StelluR, opportunity for SSG to come back.
Look at this Renegade just flying in, trying to create some space. May have felt partially unsuccessful, but his team was able to grab that snipe. Unfortunately, Bound goes down in the cuts with it. Formal, last one standing at the tower.
He's going to play this one out, just slowly wait for it up, because he's got Renegade. You can see them on his screen. He knows exactly where he's positioned. He's got to play his life because he needs this overlook spot for this Camo. And they're flooding the members of SSG. So well executed by Bound and Renegade, and that's going to net them the Camo and the sniper rifle to boot.
Just brilliant play there, too, by Formal. Just staying alive back tower. Teammates didn't spawn with them, and all of a sudden they had these players pinched over at the Camo.
Just good decision-making that we're seeing from the veterans here. And there's a reason why they've been in this game and competing for as long as they have been, because that moment-to-moment decision-making, so good. Oh, my word, Renegade, great shot. Hey, he makes some good moment-to-moment decisions as well. Gets himself a nasty shot there. Now he's looking for a little bit more, but he's getting so much information, clearing so many of these spaces here, and just allowing his teammates to be able to push forward with confidence.
Just fearlessly charging across the map, checking every corner, treating this like he has like a shotgun or bulldog or something
pretty
like
much.
that. Doesn't matter if it's close range or far away, he's hitting every single shot.
Talk about a Camo that was well used. He's got 1 shot remaining, and very well could use that shot for a kill, because Renegade very rarely misses the dome piece. There's a go suppressed. Now he's actually going to force him out. Actually does get the hit, but he does not get the kill. But the grenade will go ahead and handle that from Lqgend. So that's well done from him. Teammate there to back him up now. And there's Lqgend again. Just good support that we're seeing from Optic Gaming. And that's going to give him a sizable lead. 5 kills here as SSG, well, they're going to be stuck inside of the other side. Really just trying to figure out how do they break out of this, because it feels like Optic Gaming are moving around freely on this map with no problems.
Yeah, Optic has so much more on the map, and while this Camo's coming up, all these members of SSG are just on Camo. Whereas Optic take up so much more of the map. They now have Big Door. They now have players over on sandbags. And every single member of Optic are scoreboard and camo at that time.
Yeah, now they've pushed over toward tower. They're trying to maybe fight their way up from mid just to see if they can force some attention here. And if got that camo coming up as well. They'll be looking at it from the short here, but that actually is just going to open things up. And Renegade, so wise to it, so quick with it, just dives right in, sends that plasma, blocks that lane. And now they got themselves another camo. We saw what Renegade did with this last time. That man is a menace with his power item.
Yeah, you know his goal with this camo is going to be getting some sort of kill and getting his team eventually that sniper rifle. He doesn't want to take the first shot. Pings that player for bound to do some damage and then gets the finishing shots on him.
Optic Gaming have just done a brilliant job, Dave, of keeping this lead very much on their side. No issues whatsoever. They are continuing to add on to it, and he's got the diabolical combo again, Renegade. Looking to maybe put it to work here and add on to the 7-kill lead that Optic Gaming has accrued. Looking for one in front, but he's just going to take his time.
Yeah, this was the goal from the beginning, though. As we saw when they got that camo, it said, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to get Killer 2 to eventually secure the snipe? They get snipe back in the hands of Renegade, and he is just going to go on a tear.
And it's pretty much as simple as that. Optic Gaming's plan is sound. It's working. He's watching the lanes. They have so much control of the map. In SSG now, where those openings are going to come from. But first things first, they got to get this gun out of Renegade's hand. But Renegade is actually doing a wonderful job of just making himself, or rather, not overstaying his welcome in some areas.
He just picks somebody off and repositions. And it makes it so difficult to play against because where you heard the last call out, one, you don't want to poke out and let's say get picked off by Nest again.
Yeah.
But then secondly, someone who feels like they might be safe over in the cave, or over near pillars or some other location, all of a sudden gets sniped and you're saying, where's this guy coming from? He just repositions so quick and has such a great macro view of where the opponents are going to be at.
Yeah. Didn't even need to use a sniper there. Killing frenzy for Renegade. What a way to start off Saturday. 10-kill lead. You might as well just say those 10 kills are pretty much from Renegade at this point. Oh, my word. I mean, that might actually be the case here because he only has 10 on the board right now. Guy's insane.
Yeah, his only death was that very first one where he was charging off the beginning. He's trying to get behind enemy lines and gives up the first death at the scoreboard. But
crazy.
After that, it's just been Renegade, Renegade, Renegade the rest of this game.
And look at the patience that he's able to operate with as well, Dave, right? He's taking his time. He knows he could just move around the map. His teammates are pushed so far forward that they're giving him a lot of good info, right? Now things are starting to spread out a bit more for SSG. Maybe they'll try to take a few ones if there's an opportunity to present itself, as you can see, but there he got it, suppressed. He manages to squeak away with it. Renegade, who's usually so good at being able to detect and read when that camo push starts to come through, but he was just a little bit off on the timing there. But even then, though, Suppress, he needs to do something with this camo now that he has it in his hands.
Yeah, needs to make some sort of push. Interesting, all these nades just flying over at him. And here's the difficult spot. Even though he has camo, gonna get a body shot against him from Renegade. That's gonna be the last sniper bullet. But now let's see, how does he decide to play the rest of his camo? He just tries to create some space, but instead loses the bandit fight. A lot of times you don't want to go for the melee trade as you have camo. So you want to hopefully get help first or take your chances of just winning the bandit fight. But the fact that he was just backing straight up made the shot easier to hit and got finished off.
Yeah, it felt like his idea was to maybe push forward like on that dummy side, right? Get a little bit more aggressive there with the camo, but that snipe hitting him just kind of gave up the play. And then that guy, Kedor, was so ready for the fight that his next plan was, oh, let me go underneath then and see if I can wrap my way through the tunnel, and they shut it down. That was a camo that this team needed in order to get back into this game, and because of that, it continues to just add on to Optic Gaming's lead. They are looking solid at this point.
Yeah, look at the history of how these snipers have gone down. Every single time Optic have gotten the camo, they've gotten away with a sniper.
Yeah.
Space-Station, they get that camo in the hands of Suppressed. Still, the old lingering sniper in Renegade shuts down that camo.
The fact that he hits the body on that, he's a savage, dude. Unbelievable. Now SSG, though, starting to add a few more kills to their total, but just as I say that, Lqgend, he's just picking them off. It's like, you know, shooting, skeet shooting.
All those players flying across the sky, easy targets for him. But one thing to take solace in right now, even though Space Station's down by 8, I don't think they've had a single sniper this entire game.
Yeah.
That's not a bad scoreline if you're not having any sniper rifles. Now imagine how much this turns around if they're able to get a couple snipes in their hands.
Yeah, very true. And they are able, they're all starting to bring it back just a little bit. I mean, it was a sizable lead. I think it was 11 kills at one point, but you're now entering into a territory here where you really cannot afford to give up deaths like that. You can't afford to give up those melee trades as well. So this kind of sets Spacestation up poorly and Optic Gaming up beautifully. Big fight now, and look, Lqgend knows I'm just going to go right for this trade because we have such a lead that's exactly what we could do. And on top of that, they have full camo control yet again. And you'll see the difference between how it was when SSG had the camo versus how Optic has it. Because when SSG had it, they were not even leaving the camo vicinity. Whereas Formal, he's already pushed up inside into the face of his enemy.
Yeah, it just felt like so much more pressure coming out there from Optic. Even when they don't have camo, still feels like they have that full map control. And when they have camo, we've seen that score just climb up higher and higher. There's 49. Let's see if they can get this 50th. He knows there's somebody here back green. Here comes the nade, and Formal's going in for it.
Yep, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Honestly, that was as textbook a win as you could possibly hope for if you're an Optic fan. Textbook a win for Optic Gaming as a whole for those 5 guys on stage right now. And SSG down 2-0 in this one. Looking at a trip to the lower bracket, need to step it up. Let's see if they're able to do so, Dave. But taking a look at some of the stats here, I mean, Lqgend had one hell of a game, but Renegade really, I think, for me, was the standout because he was just so effective with those power items.
Yeah, it felt like Renegade kind of brought them into the early comfort and early win, and then felt like Lqgend just kind of took it from there. It's like, all right, you did your part. Let me do the rest here. Yeah. But Lqgend had so much damage. But, yeah, the Lqgend-Renegade combo.
Yeah, and also do want to give Flowers the bound there. 12 assists for him, meaning my guy is in the fight, trying to open up those opportunities. And, well, it all shows in the scoreboard. 50-37, that's going to do it here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, map 3. Welcome back, everyone. Time for Game 3 of this series. Does Optic Gaming close it out with a 3-0? Can Spacestation force that map 4? We got Forbidden CTF here. Golden Boy and Walshy on the horn. And players are loading in, ready to go. And let's get this party started. This is a big one here, Dave, because SSG, look, we can't like sugarcoat it. I think, you know, they've been very much outplayed in these last 2 maps. Not the way that they would have liked those maps to have gone, most definitely, but I think back to that Slayer specifically and just how good they freaking were. This is right here already another opening that's just looking wild for Optic Gaming.
Keep in mind, Renegade's hit all 4 players here. He got suppressed off the rip with the battle rifle, got the next pick onto Eco and StelluR, and then shot Falcated.
Yeah, it's
literally killed and shot all 4 players there at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, you know, I like to use the phrase like getting value out of it, right? And that's exactly what he's doing with this sniper rifle. He is getting all the value he could possibly want from this thing. And even then, when he's under pressure, can still draw enough attention that will allow the flag carrier to be able to get across the map. Is anyone there to stop him? Falcated might be the only one. It's going to be a tall task. You got Eco surrounding the base as well. And I saw one more player suppressed, I believe, on the outside. But this is where Optic Gaming are going to need to slay.
Great play by Falcated, though. Falcated doesn't fall into the trap, going to the back corner of the base. Instead, he's going towards the front flag. And he can be in a spot where he can get a kill and get this flagpole.
You would need to, and you did here, flag pulled. So you made the call, Dave. That's exactly what Falcated opted to do here. Lqgend now knowing he's in a big fight against Eco, does manage to win that one out, but StelluR's there for the cleanup. Falcated, he's going to bring that flag across. Now StelluR does have that snipe. Might try and put it to use. We've seen him do some magic with this gun in the past, but it's not going to be the case here. Both flags are going to be away from base. And now this is where the stalemate starts.
But the defense was successful there by SSG. They at least got the counter pull, and they get to bring this to a stalemate. Now, the only danger of this, what happens a lot of times in these stalemate flag scenarios is sometimes you get the flag recovery and turn it into a double cap.
Yep.
So this might not just decide a single cap. This could be a 2-cap difference here on whoever comes out ahead in the stalemate.
Falcated playing his life over here, knowing that he was going to be in a bit of a pickle. Big kill there, perfect shot onto Renegade, keeps him alive, but he lost 2 of his teammates down low. You have another one right next to him. Falcated's got to win this, and he does. Takes out Formal, and he does manage to be able to stay alive, and now he can start to march his way down the field because he sees where that flag is, and he wants to get it. Bound's going to be weakened as well. Opportunities abound here for him. Gets one, looking for the second, but they had to stop him before he got heated up.
Yeah, Falcated with a huge defense, great offense, but there we are back at the stalemate. 2 deaths there from Eco and Falcated. they can no longer push here from the SSG side to go for the flag recovery, and it's going to be setting up for the next weapons and power-ups.
Yep, that is also going to be where things get a little dicey here, because look at how Spacestation are just, you know, like hanging out around that flag, right? They're all coalescing around it, and they can't really get around to get map positioning.
This is trouble right now, though, for Optic. They have too many people down low here in the sewers. This gives Spacestation so much information that they can take over to the top of the map. And look at that. StelluR gets the pick on the bound. Lqgend still hasn't been able to get to a new up high position.
Yeah.
He's trying to go get a sniper, but look at these kill feeds now, GB. See Suppressed getting a kill. Formal's able to get some sort of answer.
Yeah,
but the whole point being is SSG were in a prime position because Optic were all down in the sewers.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And whew, nice shot there from StelluR. Looking to see if he can follow up with another. But great point you brought out there. I think for me, the thing I was a little concerned about there was just seeing how SSG were very much like all huddling back at the base. But you're right. There was a great opportunity for them. They kind of like a tug of war, if you will, right? They let them feel like they could get a little bit closer, and then they pushed back aggressively, and it worked out for them. We're still going to continue to be at the stalemate, though. StelluR loses the sniper rifle.
So aggressive. And
yeah.
Not to, to give that in their hands. There's a lot of times where StelluR, pushes up with the last few bullets and, makes magic happen. Unfortunately, not able to have it happen that time.
That was a big win there for Eco. Unfortunately, won't be able to stay alive for that long. He got sniffed out eventually.
Here's the danger that I was talking about.
3
GB going for this recovery. Can Optic get their touch? I think they didn't have someone in position to touch their own flag. So what should have been a free capture there for Optic weren't able to touch their own flag. It returns, and now Optic looking to secure a single flag.
But this kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Dave Ryan, these stalemate situations. Look how fast this pull came through from Formal. He's got the flag. He's got a point on the board, and Optic Gaming are going to be able to draw first blood here on the flag count totals against SSG, but that came after a very long stalemate. Both flags on opposite sides of the field. And then just like that, Optic Gaming read the situation and were able to take advantage of it.
Formal trying to hold down his hut for a moment here. Realizes that as long as he stays alive and doesn't allow SSG to get his hut, his team should be just fine. But look at this constant pressure here from SSG, realizing that they're going to do this counter fire all the way from the attic, but Formal will take those long-range battles any day.
Oh, yeah, and also you got to remember, too, right? He's making those shots happen. He's putting damage onto those people, and those people are now having to deal with some fights of their own. So because of that, it's going to make it a little bit more challenging for them in those moments. And just look at the help coming in. Now that they've cleared this one out completely, they have a great route to be able to pull this flag again. Formal hanging out in the back of the base, trying to see where the spawners are going to be located. He's opting to bring this one over toward Renegade. Sees StelluR down low, and he's going to have to handle him, but he's getting pressured from the right side too, and that's a dead flag.
Yeah, the Dynamo Grenade was so good by StelluR as well. Completely cuts off Formal from pushing him forward. He knows when he peeks away from that pillar, he can line up his bandit exactly where Formal's going to be.
Very well done. Now StelluR kind of putting himself in a position where he's got to do the same thing that Formal did a little earlier on. He's got to win this fight here. This is a big one. If he can get it, it'll be huge, but he does not stay alive, but he is able to get the kill. That's going to make 3 players down here for Optic Gaming. Is there an opportunity for Spacestation to get inside? No, those players are going to spawn up. They have to deal with another round of slays.
Yeah, they got the better position too. I mean, ideally, they would have loved to block the sniper side. I think Falcated was hoping they could slip in just real quick, see if he could pull a flag through the sewer.
Yeah, kind of like what Formal did.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they kind of got that flag last time, even though they had all the slays.
All right, but we have Suppress in the back of the base. They have to know that someone's back here. They have now gotten word at the very least. Because Bound is here, or sorry, Suppress is here, it's going to put a lot of the activity on these players. And Suppress now, just waiting this one out, waiting to see when his teammates are going to get in a spot to be able to help him. He's got Falcated that's going to be in that overlook position toward the mid. And they're trying to sniff him out, Renegade. Oh, not able to get the trade there. Would have obviously loved to just been able to get the clean kill, but that was not going to be the reality. But StelluR with the sniper rifle. It's been a little quiet today. He's going to need to put this to work, and he gets that kill onto Lqgend. That was the enemy snipe as well. Could very well go and combine that ammo and take that away from Optic Gaming, but instead, he's not going to have an opportunity to. But just so far, so close yet so far, it felt like here.
Yeah, and he had to make something happen there. He got that first initial kill, which is big, but when you make a play towards the sewers, it's kind of a do-or-die scenario, because once you're spotted out there, the team can react. They have all the time in the world to reposition or go attack your teammates where you are out of the fight.
I think something that's also glaringly different between how SSG handled a 4 down, and granted the circumstances a little bit different because Optic is going to be up 1-0 here, but they just go back to where they need to be rather than trying to press advantages or press their luck like what we saw Falcated try to do earlier when he tried to slip in, if you will, right? I think like those things just really goes to show just how disciplined this Optic team is, especially in those situations where it's like, hey, let's not press our luck, let's go ahead and handle the business where we need to handle it, but at the same time, make sure that we're backing each other up so that this way we can not let them get the positioning on the map the way that they would like to, rather. Excuse me.
But yeah, doing great job, like you said. It's just feels like also one thing that Optic's doing really well here towards the end, outside of how they played those other 4-down situations, is Renegade playing very patient with that snipe.
Yeah.
He just staying all the way back outside, making sure there's no way that he gives up this weapon and gets it in the hands of SSG, especially once he got that combined ammo.
And look at his reposition as well. He knows where those spawners are going to be coming from, like pushing underneath sewers and whatnot. If he had hung out there a little bit longer, he would have ran into someone. So that means that player could have slipped by, but it doesn't seem like that's the case here. As we got a flag now moving. Formal's bringing this one around, taking it over to the SSG snipe side. That's going to have to prompt a movement over toward the Optic snipe side, giving Falcated an opportunity. Flag has now been pulled opposite of this as well. Feels like we're kind of in a similar situation.
SSG actually in a really good spot. Lqgend, the only one that's going to be able to stop this flag, and he's the only one alive over this hut. So Eco and StelluR not only need to get these kills with the flag, but fortunate spawns there for Optic Gaming as they go towards back Mohawk.
That has to be frustrating.
They had the slays, they had everything, everyone in a pretty good position, but unable to rally that flag back, especially with the good spawns from Optic.
Well, they do manage to get 2 down here after Formal got popped there in the air. Maybe they can play off of this. You can see Eco pushing down in the sewers here. Lqgend's waiting for it, waiting to hear any movement. Playing low, playing crouched. You can see the other 3 members of Optic on the right side of the screen, forcing the attention over toward their snipe side of the map. And now Eco. Prime opportunity here, but this is exactly what Lqgend was waiting for. He knew that someone was going to be creeping around the sewers, and you know what? It may not be attack FPS, but you got to check your corners, man. 2 players down now. OS is available. StelluR really wants to get that with this snipe. He's got 4 bullets to work with, and he's got Optic's name right on it.
It's tough when that goes in the hand of Optic because not only do they fight against it, but that's an overshield that they're hoping to use at the end of this game to get their one and only cap they need to tie this.
Yeah.
Now that's no longer a chance, and there's more pressure being put on Lqgend getting a flagpole.
Yeah, Bound has this overshield. You just lost the sniper rifle on your side of the map as well. So there's just so much that needs to be done here if you're SSG to try and stop this flagpole from happening. But they're only going to really be able to slow things down just a little bit. But outside of that, that ain't really going to matter all that much. This is looking like flag cap number 2 here. No one from SSG is around to stop it because they're all dead. And that is going to be 2-0. Optic up now and looking to march their way forward in the bracket with 1 minute remaining.
It's looking dire. I mean, there's not going to be any snipers to help SSG here. No OSs. They're just going to have to dig deep and get some slays. And it's going to be tough when Renegade still has a sniper in his hut.
Yeah, this is a tall task for SSG here. Oh, man. And there really is just nothing that they could do because they got to go. They have to push. And Optic Gaming can just hang around, chill, do what they want to do. But instead of letting this one end on time, they want to end it declaratively. 4 players in the back of the base. The flag is starting to move as well. Renegade's got this one across. He's trying to get back over to his flag to make sure that he can protect this one here. But this is basically curtains now, Dave. What a run that we have seen Optic Gaming put together in this series. So well done.
Interestingly enough, decide not to force the run at the end, realizing, hey, the only way that Optic are really going to throw this is if they somehow desperate this flag over it and get double capped on. So wise play there from Optic.
Yeah.
Not overcommitting, instead just going to go for a few more slays to end this one out, and that's going to be Optic taking this game 3-0.
It all came down to time. They thought about it. Maybe we could go put this flag cap in, but it was more exciting to put the pressure on SSG in those final moments, it seems like. In Optic Gaming, it doesn't get any better than this for a start on Saturday here at HCS. The Halo World Championships. Always got to get my names right. But, Dave, this team is looking very scary.
Yeah, they are looking good. And, I mean, I was sitting here talking with Aries Carriers for a little bit right before, and I was saying, I think Optic's best is quite possibly the best in all of the HCS. And what I'm seeing so far today, especially from Renegade and Lqgend
Yeah.
is I am seeing them play some of their best Halo, and that's scary for the opposing teams.
Most definitely is, and it helps when you got Formal dropping 6K damage, putting in that work. This team looks good. 2-0 victory for Optic Gaming, 3-0 on the series. SSG take a trip to the lower bracket. Optic move on. That's going to do it for us here on the Bravo stream. We'll catch you guys in a little bit. See you soon.